speaking of virtual afterlives,
Yeah.
let's get into another one.
Kind of.
Kind of. Or we're approaching it in this show, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so dumbfounded and confused with this season. But I'm talking about Westworld Season 3 now that it is all wrapped up. Only 8 episodes this time.
Yep.
What the fuck did I just watch?
Wow. Crisis Theory is the name of the episode.
Oh, I didn't even look at it this week.
You're just done with it? Yeah.
Definitely done with this season.
Clearly I was done with the season because I yet again almost missed a fucking post-credits scene. If you've listened to any of our podcasts about The Outsider, you know how much I despise post-credit scenes.
The post-credit from the finale was better than the entire season.
But also confusing. Okay. We can just touch on this now if we want. I think what happened was when they were filming this season, we can get into those details in a second. They were not greenlit for a season 4, right? Like that just came out like a couple weeks ago.
Right.
So
I think it's got to be expected though. Like there has to be something in the pipeline where they're like, we're going to do another season after this.
Well, to me,
or they have to at least be prepared.
To me, it looks like they concluded this season where it could have been the end of the series.
Yeah, like we're talking about the apocalypse.
The way that this season ended, it wasn't a great ending. Well, because anytime that a show has to maybe end the series not knowing if they're getting another season or not, it's never going to be as satisfying as it should be. But like,
at least make it make sense.
But I think that they made it make sense as best they could. And the way that the show ended before the post-credit scene could have been the end of the series. And then I think they filmed this post-credit scene as a just in case we get picked up for season 4. We can have like a cliffhanger and set up season 4. Because if you think about it, the way that the actual episode ended, there wasn't really a big setup. I mean, you know, they're kind of promising Caleb being this new leader or whatever, but they didn't really set anything up. Right. But now they're setting up this whole Charlotte storyline from the post credits. And so I think that was filmed as like a just in case. We're going to throw this in at the end if we get picked up for season 4, which they did. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to start with this.
Let's start with this. I was fucking right.
You were right.
I was fucking right.
You were.
I didn't see any of you fuckers on Reddit talking about this. I didn't see any articles talking about this. And my big brain came up with it during an episode on this podcast.
Okay, let's get cocky.
On the spot. You asked me a question. Why is Bernard still alive? I think this was episode 3.
Yeah, this was.
He probably has the key. Because that's the only thing that makes sense. And boom, he had the key.
Yeah. We talked about this several episodes ago.
I think it was episode 2 or 3 because we were right in the beginning. We were talking about why is she keeping Bernard alive. It
might have been 2 or 3. It was when we were talking about the extra pearls.
Yeah.
And that got revealed in episode 4, so I think it was before that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bernard had the information. So yeah, okay. As a season of as a whole, there were no big revelation moments, I don't think. I mean, you know, we get Dolores cloned herself. Can you call that a bombshell? I don't know.
The internet was like amazed by it. We talked about it. I was not. Okay, she copied herself. Sweet. She's Agent Smith.
Yeah.
But then it's lazy. It takes away. There's no anxiety watching scenes with Dolores and fights with Maeve because I'm like, this is just another copy somewhere. There's just another copy somewhere. Another copy somewhere.
Right. Okay, so let's kind of go through the episode and maybe some like big points and some more questions that we have. I think it's comical that there wasn't a cold open, but there was a post-credits scene. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
You turned around right in the beginning. We're like, oh, there's always a cold open, but not on the finale.
No, I was happy.
Yeah, you were happy about it, but did they do it on every episode?
Yes.
This season?
So now it's like, instead of doing a cold open to make a point, it was like they didn't do a cold open. And I get it because I'm not like with shows like this.
Is that to make another point?
I think it is. Like with shows like this, I prefer to not have a cold open because I just like the continuity of the whole episode without getting interrupted by a big title sequence.
Right.
So I prefer not having cold opens. Although I always think that I still stand by that. I think Game of Thrones did it very successfully.
Well, Game of Thrones is different because they had to remind you of things that you definitely forgot about.
But no, I'm not talking about the previously on. They always did that.
Oh, that's right. What am I
Yeah.
talking about? No, but it like brought your attention to something.
Yeah, Game of Thrones, I would like to look it up because I'm not sure how often they did it. They did not do it very often.
No.
Maybe once a season, if that.
Yeah.
And every time that they had a cold open, it was a very striking, memorable scene. And
Right.
I like the way they handled that. And
These
then,
are random. Like the one last week was so cheesy.
so cheesy.
Like Maeve
yeah.
just like, let's do this again for the billionth time, and like slashes some people. Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh. She's got a sword.
But speaking of, I mean, I think they did it to draw attention to the fact that they didn't do it, and also to just continue, like, to have the continuity, to not break up this episode with a title sequence. Now, speaking of the previously on, I loved. It had so many scenes from the previous seasons that I was like, man, I miss those
Season
seasons.
1, they showed Anthony Hopkins.
I know.
We got, the horses on the horseback with the rifles. That's what I miss.
I know.
It'll never be the same.
And the episode opens with Dolores in a field that looks like Westworld, and she's giving her, I see the beauty in the world monologue that we've heard before. And she looks over and she says something about, I did this for you. And we learn later that she's actually in a simulation with Maeve.
Right.
And when she said, I did this for you, she was looking at Maeve and her daughter, which, I mean, I guess it's a good motivation, but also like it's not a believable motivation. I don't think.
I've been saying that the whole time too. I don't get Maeve's ordeal, and they threw it out the window at the end too because she just turns around and now is on Dolores' side.
That's what.
Could they not have just done that earlier?
Yeah,
and moved on.
Literally the whole time. Why did that
have to be drawn out?
The whole time I'm watching them fight in every episode that they fought, I'm like, if they would just. Because they've been playing with the Dolores. Is Dolores actually a villain, or is she doing something good? And it was the latter, which I think we all could have assumed. Like, I don't think that was a shocker either, that she had actually turned and she was trying to help humanity. Like, that wasn't surprising.
Yeah.
Although, when did she have that revelation? When did she change her plan?
Well, that's what's confusing too. This whole season confuses me.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people like it because the spectacle that it became diverted them from the terrible narrative.
Right.
In my eyes, I'm sorry, I'm bashing it right now. I'm part of that crowd. I was appeased by the action.
Yeah.
But now when I'm looking back on it in hindsight, I'm like, none of this made sense.
No.
Because like you just said, when did this idea, and was her idea from the beginning to help humanity? Because she pretty blatantly said she was trying to destroy it.
Yeah, I don't think it was. But okay, one person, Caleb, made the choice when he was, we can comment on, we found out that Park 5 of the Delos destinations was a military training camp.
I did like that.
It was a cool addition. Yes.
I really liked his backstory, but I still didn't really like Aaron Paul in this.
And no, I don't think he was good. He wasn't believable.
He was good either, though. The whole time, just.
I wish they could see your face right now.
They're gonna see it on YouTube. Eyebrow gazing.
Yeah, so
that was me too, bro. That's how I felt watching.
So, when he's in Park 5 training for the military, when they finish their training, the military wanted the soldiers to train with quote unquote real targets. And when they finished, some of the soldiers were saying like, oh, we liberated these natives. We should be able to have fun with them like all the other rich bastards that visit the park or whatever. And Caleb.
Spoils of war. Some GOT vibes right there. No matter which house they fought for, they raped and pillaged.
Yes, it's so true. But Caleb stopped them. And Dolores happened to be one of the natives that were, living in the town that the soldiers came in. And And also, I don't know if you noticed, Hilario was sitting next to her without her dragon face tattoo.
Yeah.
Also, so was Dolores being used in multiple parks? Because this definitely was after Westworld was created.
Yeah, because of
right?
Caleb's
so, like,
age.
Yeah. Whatever.
That makes no sense either.
I know.
Yeah.
Like
she was always in the Westworld park
like
storyline.
How were they doing that? Like, were they erasing her mind every time she went to Park 5 to help with the military? I mean, I guess they erased her mind every day. They did. So I guess she could have. But they would have had to install a new narrative for her.
Maybe it was just a visual thing where she wasn't actually in Park 5, but all of the intel she grabbed from the Forge and stuff, it was like she was sitting there, but it was actually someone else. You know what I'm saying?
If that's the case, though, I feel like they should have been more clear about that.
Yeah, I don't. That again doesn't make sense.
I know. So the point in saying all of that was that this one man who isn't even like that great of a person, like he's a good guy, I guess, but he's not like a saint by any means. This one man changed her whole outlook on humanity. Like it just doesn't make sense.
You want to tell me that there wasn't someone in the Westworld park that didn't do the same thing? Right.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah.
There was like William when he first got there.
I just like if this is where they were gonna go, I just don't think they should have pushed Dolores' set to exterminate all of humanity in the first few episodes. Like, why was she so dead set on that?
In the end, she did. It was her.
Not really, though. I mean, she liberated them.
Right.
And like Bernard said, she, like, Sirach and his brother were just prolonging the inevitable.
Right. So what was the thing on the screen? They have like 23 years till the apocalypse now or something like that? They were like, this is what happens when you upload the drive.
But was that accurate? Because they were saying that Dolores wanted to kill off humanity, but that's not really. So everything that Sirach was saying, I don't believe. Like, I don't believe any of those numbers that they presented because he was just trying to get Caleb to turn on Dolores.
Yeah.
So we get a cameo from Lawrence, who is, got Dolores' pearl. We're assuming because Bernard says, "You're Dolores, aren't you?" And he doesn't say anything. Cool cameo, I guess. Whatever. I personally think that if we were going to get this cameo, why was he not in the Musashi role? Like, he's much more recognizable.
Right.
I still don't understand why Musashi, and speaking of Musashi, what the fuck? Where are Clementine and Hilario?
So random. That was so random to bring back. I didn't even think about that till now.
They literally took his head with his pearl, and we never saw him again. Who are they working for? Are they working for Charlotte? Or are they working for Maeve? Maeve wanted help. They weren't even helping. I don't understand.
That's what I'm saying. This season is fucking throwing paint at a canvas. Just
or maybe they were helping, but you would think, she said she wanted help. Like, you would think that, why were they not with her fighting Dolores? I don't get it. Just feel like everything that happened is just like, why?
Like, we were giving them the benefit of the doubt the whole season, talking about why it might work.
Yeah.
And then when you get this finale, it's kind of like, this season should have never happened.
No.
Especially how it ends. Like, now, so Bernard has the key to this heaven afterlife
the
thing.
Valley Beyond.
The Valley Beyond. That's the word I'm looking for. So he goes there. We see him like leave his body, right? Just like the other hosts left their body, their vessel, when they entered it.
Yeah.
So we're assuming he's there.
Yes.
What does that do?
So according to him, he was a terrible friend and put Stubbs in a tub.
Stubbs in a tub.
And it could not even take the 30 seconds to try to patch him up and like do whatever he needed to do for him. And then he's gone for God knows how long. Stubbs like just still in the tub with the melted ice and his vodka bottles.
His nips. I mean,
yeah.
But then like Bernard wakes up in the post credit with dust everywhere.
I know.
So is he back? Like he went to
Yes.
explore afterlife
So
and
what
came
he
back?
said was, this is what he said. And it also doesn't make sense to me. So if somebody wants to explain it to me, you can. But he says he needs to go find out what happens after the apocalypse. What happens after the world ends.
Right, like where are we going to be?
But my question is, why do the people in the Valley Beyond have this answer? Who's there that he's going to go talk to?
I guess he's going to figure it out for himself, like what's there? What are we looking forward to?
I don't think that's what they were trying to get at. I don't think he's trying to go there. I think he's trying to help humanity.
Get there?
Or the world. No, not I don't know. See, this is exactly what I'm saying. I don't know.
I feel like this season should have been, the finale should have been the first episode, and then they should have just moved forward with the narrative.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. That's just what he says. He's trying to figure out what happens. And he was trying, I guess he was trying to go before the apocalypse, but in the post-credit when he wakes up with dust all over him, first of all, why is there that much dust on him? I mean, was there a bomb and the windows got blown out or something? And now
I'm
it's
assuming that's because of the apocalypse. Like,
it's funny though, because
right?
all the walls were still intact. Like he was still in the motel room.
Maybe
or the wall behind
apocalypse
him, I guess
happened like a million years ago, and he's been sitting there.
Right, like
forever.
we don't know how long he's been sitting there. I don't think it was that long.
Well, you know that time moves faster in simulations.
Yes. Yeah.
And then no, then that doesn't make sense. That's the
Nope.
reverse.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we don't know how long he was there, or what information he gathered.
No, of course, it was just a post-credit snip so that they can move forward with the series as a whole.
Speaking of Bernard, we also get the scene with him and Arnold's wife.
Which I asked in the middle of it too. Why?
Yeah, I know.
Okay, I'm not gonna say why. Like looking back at it now, I understand it. Dolores wanted to show that hosts can have real human emotions.
Yes, it's exactly what she was doing.
Right.
Yeah.
So I get it.
I get it.
I don't know why. I mean, it wasn't that pretty self-explanatory with the whole fucking narrative of the host between. Wasn't that already explained with Maeve?
Well,
having a love for her daughter? Wasn't that already explained with Dolores' agenda?
It was
Dolores'.
This scene was more for Bernard than for the viewer, which I find to be kind of pointless. I mean, I guess we'd probably be complaining like, oh, like Bernard all of a sudden is accepting his human emotions, blah, 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 whatever. So I guess this was just like a way to show that, try to prove to Bernard that his human emotions are legitimate, and you know, you could look at it that it also could have been a way for Dolores to show Bernard that she doesn't find all of humanity to be repulsive. Right? Like she's like softened her view of humanity. She's accepting these emotions. She's letting him go, you know, see this wife that to him was his wife. And we saw in season 1 that he was having video chats with this woman.
Right.
That were obviously fake. It was great acting by both actors. The older woman was I don't know if I'm sure you guys all picked up on it, that it was prosthetics, like she's actually a younger woman. But still, it definitely seemed out of nowhere. Okay, so this is just, I just think this is funny. Let's just shit on the episode a little bit more. Caleb gets from Sonora to LA pretty damn fast. I looked it up because I'm an asshole.
It's like
it's 765 miles from Sonora to LA and should take 13 hours.
The Game of Thrones when they shorten their seasons. Like
yeah.
The travel went out the window.
It's like, it used to take like months to get somewhere.
We ride to King's Landing, cuts in King's Landing. It's just like, that never happened in the beginning.
Yeah. So I just thought that was funny, but he goes to the...
Because they're spending all their goddamn budget on cheesy action scenes.
I know. He goes to the Itidoshan, however you say that, distillery that's in LA, which we saw in Singapore, which is where she, I guess Dolores, her printing plant. And there's like a coffin that has Dolores' original robot body in it. And so now we realize this is the body she was trying to smuggle. So that kind of comes back around. One thing that makes sense in this episode. So in this scene, Dolores kind of insinuates, not kind of, she basically says she chose Caleb, and I about lost my shit.
Yeah, because I thought Rehoboam chose Dolores.
Well, no, that was our theory.
Or Solomon.
To try to make it make sense.
So did she really control the app?
I don't know. No, I don't think so. I don't think she controls the app, but she is saying that she chose Caleb because she had seen him in Park 5 and the system had fucked him over, basically. Whatever. Although it's just, why in the first episode would they present it like they randomly ran into each other?
I mean, that doesn't bother me. It's just,
No?
I don't understand how Solomon was controlling the app. Right?
Well, no.
Rico?
He created the app. Rehoboam was controlling
Rehoboam was controlling Rico.
Yes.
Rehoboam wanted him to wind up there, where Dolores was. So how does Dolores choose him? Was she just going to find him anyway? And Rehoboam beat him to the chase?
I don't think Rehoboam purposely put him there. Honestly, the way it's presented with the information that we were given, it makes it seem like he just got on the job, the Rico app. He accepted this job.
You know what
and
also
just
makes no
happened
sense?
To be there.
They threw in that snip of the episode like he wanted to touch her while they were in the tunnel. I knew what she wanted to do. Like right after they brought up the spoils of war thing. And then she flipped right over on the other side like, you're a decent. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. I didn't catch. I'm
just thinking about it now.
I didn't catch.
She did bring that up though.
She did say that, and I remember thinking, what was she implying?
The way he was grabbing her, I was like, oh, he wanted to like touch her up because she was attractive.
I thought she was implying.
I forget the direct quote, but she's like,
I thought she was implying that if he had known, if she hadn't looked human, would he have still helped? That's kind of what I took from that conversation.
Yeah, but then like it totally flips to like, oh, you're decent. That's why I picked you. So like, what?
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I feel like it's just like a bunch of I don't know, because I feel like they did not tell the story well at all.
No, I feel like it wasn't planned out.
No. Okay, Dolores and Caleb are trying to get to Insight, and Charlotte appears to them as a hologram. I mean, at this point, you're like, is she working with Sirach using this hologram shit? But we don't know.
Only Dolores could see her.
Right. Oh, right. I think she hacked into her contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her eyes
Do
are
we want to
sparkling.
talk about how the fuck she's even alive?
Who, Charlotte?
Yeah. Well, I guess she survived and repaired herself because we saw that in the post-credit scene.
Yeah. So I still don't know if she was actively working with Sirach and Maeve, or she just kind of was on their heels, knew what they were doing, and was kind of helping them out because getting rid of Dolores would help her in the end. Right? Like, I don't think she had like an agreement with Sirach and Maeve. Like, I think she just was letting them get Dolores because she wanted Dolores gone.
Right.
I literally, in my notes, I just was like, a bunch of action happens. From this point on, a bunch of action happens. Yeah. Caleb fights his way through the riots to get to Insight. R.I.P. Giggles.
I just want to say, if there's 30... Well, Giggles didn't die.
Got shot.
Did he?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
When he was running to try to help.
Well, I know he got shot, but I didn't know if he died. I thought she was going to help him.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe he didn't die. We didn't see him actually.
I just want to point out, you got to be a little bit more creative with the action. You got about 20 to 30 SWAT officers completely covered in Kevlar, and she's just ripping shots in the chest at them with the pistols, and like they're not hitting her at all.
Oh yeah, total stormtroopers.
Yeah, it was.
They might as well just had stormtrooper armor on.
It was so bad. Like I would have just preferred to watch extended Maeve versus Dolores this combat than to watch.
Oh, for sure.
Than to watch that.
Yeah.
I'm like, these dudes are covered in Kevlar, and she's just like pistoling them in the chest, and they're just like, ugh. Like,
yeah. I do have to say, as much as I hated the Marshawn Lynch cameo in episode 1,
he got better.
He got better. He did. And he got to show off some of his
crowd control.
Got to show off some of his
was awakened.
Skills, yeah. So I will admit, wasn't as bad as I originally had in my head. So let's see. You know, you just talked about how Dolores fought off shitloads of guys. Didn't make any sense. Her and Maeve get into it. And then Charlotte appears again. And, okay, did Maeve inactivate Dolores or did Charlotte inactivate Dolores?
I thought it was Charlotte.
Okay, yeah. For some reason,
it doesn't. Oh, you don't know. Yeah, I thought it was, but now I'm thinking about it. It doesn't make sense. It was probably Maeve.
No, I think it was Charlotte. When I was watching the episode, I thought...
Yeah, no, it was Charlotte.
It was Charlotte. But when I was watching the episode, I thought that maybe... At this point, I thought maybe Charlotte and Maeve were working together. They gave Dolores false hope, because Charlotte specifically says that, to think that she actually could win this fight. But that because Maeve could control technology like we've seen, she took over and... took Dolores. That's what was going on in my mind when I was watching the episode. But I think that's wrong. Some stuff I've read and listened to. Somehow Charlotte was able to deactivate Dolores. Don't know how that works. How does that work? She's in Dubai. We find out later.
Maybe Clementine helped her.
I don't know. Since when did Charlotte have these powers?
It's like dinner for schmucks at this point. It's like, oh, you have mind control? Well, I have brain control. And they start that pew, pew, pew battle.
Oh, that's so funny.
That's where the show's going.
Yeah, right? So, Dolores makes an interesting comment, I think, when she's fighting Maeve still, and she says... I don't have the direct quote, but something to the effect of she was the one true host and all the other hosts were made in her image because she was the first successful one, which is like cocky as hell.
Yeah.
And very God complex.
Right.
Jesus complex kind of actually. Or Adam and Eve God, it's all the religious biblical references in there. I also find it really, really fucking hilarious that the main control unit for Rehoboam is in the lobby of Insight. What the hell?
Just right there.
I mean, we've seen this in another episode, and I don't think we mentioned it, and I think it's hysterical.
Someone from the opposite roof just fires an RPG through that thing. It's just done.
What the hell? Like, I understand maybe putting the actual, the big orb thing in the lobby to show it off. But don't have the fucking control unit. Like, it needs to be locked away in some, deep corner of that building.
Yeah.
Are we serious? Anyway.
It wasn't in the budget. They had to show... 30 stormtroopers going down with
at
pistols.
Least you would think at least have it under. So we saw that Sirach, Maeve, Sirach's minions, and Dolores are actually under Rehoboam. I mean, even if it was there, it would have made more sense. But it's just it's like the check-in counter in the lobby.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But the Dolores is hooked up to Rehoboam. And Sirach is trying to find the Sector 16 information, which is the Valley Beyond stuff. And he's just deleting memories as he is not finding it. And Caleb is trying to upload what Solomon has given them. We don't really know what that was at this point. I mean, turns out, according to Sirach, it was going to cause the mass extinction. Okay. But Caleb gets stopped, and the stairs kill the Rock's guy. Caleb isn't even successful at that.
I burst out laughter too with that too. I couldn't get enough of the action.
So he gets pulled down.
It's funny because he like falls on his butt, but then on the slide down, the stair breaks his neck.
Yeah. Caleb gets brought down below Rehoboam and sees Dolores, and shit ensues. We find out that Sirach is basically a puppet. I mean, that's a big point, I guess.
Yeah, I was disappointed I was wrong about that. I thought he wasn't real, but he's
actually weak as hell, which is probably why we've never seen him real.
Yeah.
But we were right that him and Rehoboam were one and the same.
I thought it was a projection, but it was literally just like earpiece, and Rehoboam was controlling his actions, but it was a human vessel.
Yeah, right.
Saw him bleeding out, so.
Yeah, exactly. But Maeve and Dolores, while Sirach is trying to get this information, wants to kill Caleb, Maeve touches Dolores' hand. And I think we're supposed to believe that since simulations happen way faster than real time, that everything we see play out with Maeve and Dolores in the simulation in Westworld happened like really fast. And we just saw it play out slow because that's how we have to experience time. And so, when Maeve keeps looking over at Caleb and then we flash back to Maeve and Dolores in the simulation, like that's not how it was actually happening. Like there wasn't like this huge period of time where Maeve's just staring at Caleb when they're getting ready to kill him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they have a nice little conversation. Dolores explains everything, which I'm like, why the fuck was this not explained to Maeve when she was trying to kill you all those other times? It maybe even said, let me in your head. I don't want to fight you. And Dolores kept fighting. What the fuck? I just don't get it. So Maeve sides with Dolores. She goes ape shit on everybody, kills everybody with her katana. And the last part of Dolores' programming from Solomon opened up Rehoboam's control. So it took the control away from Sirach.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dolores gave the control to Caleb. And Caleb was just like, delete yourself.
Right.
No, like, are you sure?
No, that's what happened.
No, I'm saying like Rehoboam wasn't like, are you sure? Are you sure you want to delete everything? Are you sure you want to return to factory settings?
Yeah.
Whatever. Maeve takes Caleb outside. It recites her typical "this is the new world" speech. You can be whoever the fuck you want, which we've heard before. LA's kind of burning to the ground. And that's Dolores is dead. That version of Dolores is dead, correct?
She's never dead.
Well, Dolores as a character, no, because Dolores is in Charlotte.
Right. There was another Pearl somewhere. She's in the dude too.
But that version of Dolores, that Dolores who was leading this revolution is dead.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can also say the Dolores that was the rancher's daughter was dead too, because the Dolores that we had now was the Dolores merged with Wyatt. I think it's a huge problem that I don't care that Dolores is dead. You think it's a problem?
I'm done with the show. The season murdered it so bad. 2020 hindsight. This isn't Westworld anymore. It's a gigantic spectacle that makes no sense. Dolores is dead. The men in black, I always say men. The man in black, William, is now dead.
Yeah, so
now it's a host.
Post credits, we get. Well, first of all, William can't even get into his own damn building. He owns Delos. Why can't he get into his building? Whatever. Goes to the basement, finds Charlotte. Charlotte has made a host William, and he kills human William, and we find out she's making a shitload of other hosts. So we're gonna get the robot host revolution that we thought we were probably gonna get this season, and Bernard is covered in dust.
Yeah,
it's a shame that this season kind of went off the rails the way that it did.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. It was not cohesive at all.
No. And like you said, I mean, we could have started the season the way the season ended. I don't give a shit about Caleb. I don't care what he does. I'm a human and I don't even give a shit what he does for the humans. I really don't. Like,
what is he going to do? He's not their leader now.
I know, but is he going to be in season 4? Like, I feel like this is like set him up to be like a big character, but I don't care about him.
What's going to make people turn around and like follow him? Okay, he destroyed Rehoboam. I don't know. Give me Anthony Hopkins back.
Well,
Give me back season 1.
It's very unfortunate that they just killed off one of the most intriguing characters, I think, William.
Yeah.
Why did you tease?
They ruined his character this season. They ruined it.
We got little bits and pieces and teases of a redemption arc, and then you kill him off in a post-credit scene. How are you going to kill off a main character in the post-credit scene? Disrespect for my man.
I know. My favorite character. It's like they overly corrected themselves. Like,
they did.
Oh shit. People really liked Park William. Let's bring him back as a host.
Yeah. Not the same. Yeah, so if you guys couldn't tell, we didn't like the season finale.
No. Over it. I'm done talking about it. I'm just like brain fried. It's scrambled eggs of a season. Like,
yeah. I really, it surprises me that people were like fine with this season.
People were fine because they were distracted with the spectacle.
I saw, just speaking of like the toxicity of social media, how it can be and how people get so hostile when you say one thing that they don't like, even though you're allowed to have your own opinion. I think it was, oh God, I don't remember which account it was now, but it was, an entertainment account. And they posted a post about how this season of Westworld was not so great. Like, I think that's how it was worded. It wasn't like this season of Westworld was dog shit, like they were just like, it wasn't so great. And people were just like losing their shit, calling them peasants and how they have like a low IQ because it's just more than they can understand. And like, I'm just like, are you kidding?
It's the same people who couldn't understand season 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'm saying people always complain.
Yeah.